Hi, hello, how are you? And welcome to another episode of me acting like I'm in a position to give anyone advice about anything. I hope you are doing well today. Today, let's take a look at r/am I the asshole and see who we can judge. Am I the asshole for refusing to allow a photo of my future mother-in-law's miscarriages at my wedding? Ooh. I feel like not, but let's see. So am I the asshole for refusing to allow a photo of my future mother-in-law's miscarriages at my wedding? So partner's mother, right? Yes. Throwaway because of course. Trigger warning for miscarriage and stillbirth. Okay. So OP is a 26-year-old female and says, I'm planning my wedding to my fiance who's a 27-year-old male in a few months. Everything is going great and I love him so much. I can't wait to spend my life with him. He loves my family and I for the most part. He loves my family and I for the most part love his. A bit of background. Fiance has a much older brother. While my future mother-in-law was pregnant 3 times in between them, all of them resulted in late miscarriages and stillbirths. As a result, mother-in-law put all of her motherly love and attention on fiancé. He had never tried a fruit or vegetable before I met him because his parents never made him when he was young and he'd grown up assuming they were gross. Wow, not a single fruit or vegetable in your life? I got him to try some and he loves them now. As we were planning our guest list, we consulted our families about which and how many relatives we should invite. Future mother-in-law asked that we invite fiance's dead brother and sisters. When we asked what she meant, she wanted us to put up a framed photo of the dead babies in the pews at our wedding ceremony and then save them seats at our reception. I was horrified. First of all, we are trying to have a fairly small wedding to start with and a beautiful intimate venue. We can only have seats for 30 to 50 people and I would like these places to be for our friends and family, not for people who have never met either of us because they're dead. Fiance agrees that the 3 of 50 seats reserved for dead people is too many. He suggested we compromise and just let mother-in-law put up all 3 photos in one seat. Personally, I think it's gross and weird to include any of them. We're starting our lives together. We want to have a family and it almost seems like a bad omen, but it means a lot to her and it's a fairly small ask. Fiance's parents are paying for 75% of her wedding and this is the only request she's had. So am I the asshole for still refusing? Honestly, I think not. I mean, something that I always say is like your wedding, your choice. And this seems to be like really fucking like, I don't know the word for it, just like, it seems like a not good situation and that it wouldn't really help anybody by doing that, you know? Seems as if there's maybe still some processing to do on the mother-in-law's part. I totally understand, you know, maybe saying that, you know, they'll be there in spirit or they'll be watching from above, something like that. But to ask that you save 3 seats for them and put up photos of them in the pews and all that, there's no way that the other guests at the wedding aren't going to be wondering who those are. I could understand it if they were miscarried babies of the bride and groom, but they aren't. And since the fiance also isn't keen on doing this, like it would be different if he wanted to do it but she didn't, but it seems like neither of them actually want to. I can understand how, since the fiance's parents are paying for 75% of the wedding, it's kind of like, should we then, like, if this is the one thing they've asked for, like, should we at least do this one thing for them? But I also feel like if you are going to generously pay for 75% of someone's wedding, then that's a gift. That's a generous gift that you're giving, not an exchange for, I'll only do this if you put up pictures of my dead babies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you want to be sensitive, but at the same time, it's still their wedding, so I don't think they're the asshole, but I would understand if the fiance's parents were upset about it, honestly, because it's obviously something very personal and sensitive to them. but I don't think OP's an asshole for saying no. Okie dokie. Next one. Am I the asshole for continuing to work out after kids? What? Surely not. So I'm a 30-year-old male and my wife is a 30-year-old female, and we have 2 small kids who are 2 years and 3 months old. Ever since having our first child, it has been a continuously sore subject that I still go to the gym multiple times a week when I could be at home instead. Context, I work a pretty demanding full-time job and my wife stays at home with the kids and works part-time remotely. I usually go to the gym in the afternoon after work. On the weekends, I only go when the kids are napping. Sometimes I'm even just trying to use our stationary bike inside the house, which provokes the same angry or passive-aggressive response. The response when I say I'm going to work out is usually a variation of, well, I was going to ask you to do a chore, but whatever, just leave instead. Or, must be nice to be able to go work out whenever you want. I have offered many times for her to do the same and leave the kids with me while she goes, but she usually doesn't feel like going in the times when I'm available to do so. I've given up pretty much all of my hobbies since having kids in order to focus on the family when I'm not at work, so I don't feel like it's unreasonable to ask for 4 or 5 hours per week in order to take care of myself physically and mentally. Am I the asshole? So I think what's key here is the fact that how many times does he say he's going? I don't see it. Multiple times a week, he says. So in theory, going to the gym when you have kids doesn't make you an asshole, no. However, if you're going multiple times a week, specifically after work, okay, say you work a 9 to 5 full-time job, then after work you're going to the gym, your kids aren't even 3 years old. They're going to be asleep by the time you get back. So, to me, it doesn't seem very fair to leave the wife with the kids the entire day, even when she's working part-time from home. She still has to look after the kids. Then even when you finish work, she's still looking after the kids. And then when you finally get home, the kids are in bed anyway and she's done all of it herself. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that she should be passive-aggressive about it, but I do think there are some compromises to be made, because what you're essentially doing is leaving all the labour for her to do, which is not fair. And yeah, it's all well and good saying, oh, well, you can do the same, whatever. But then you're saying, oh, she doesn't want to go when I'm available. That's because when you're available is probably the time when she would want to go, but you always go then. You know what I mean? Always in the afternoons before you get super tired, before you have to think about dinner and all this kind of stuff. So it's borderline actually, because you know, it's so common for men to leave all the emotional labour, all the emotional work to the women. And that is bullshit, to be honest. But I think that maybe OP doesn't realise that that's what he's doing. I think he should. But it doesn't seem that there's any sort of malice or intention to dump the kids on the mother. But probably he doesn't see it as dumping the kids because he never has the kids anyway. The mother already has the kids, so how can you dump something on someone if they already have it? You know what I mean? So, not the asshole, but you should know better. Honestly, you should know better. Okay, next one. These are quite different today. Am I the asshole for telling some teenagers to go fuck themselves? If they're being assholes, probably not. I always think just because kids are kids doesn't mean they're not assholes. Like, what do you think asshole kids grow up to be? Asshole adults, you know what I mean? Anyway, am I the asshole for telling some teenagers to go fuck themselves? I was out at a ball game today and a couple of teenagers were openly mocking my weight. Yes, I'm overweight but not clinically obese. Size 16, women's for reference. I challenged them on it and asked them to repeat themselves to me. One decided to tell me that I'm fat. I responded saying, well, you can go fuck yourself, which got an immediate reaction of shock from them. They got their parents' attention and told them what happened, and immediately I had 3 adults about twice my age or older, I'm 27, yelling at me, telling me that it was inappropriate, and one of them even called me a bitch. I responded saying, if your brats are old enough to mock people to their faces, they're old enough to deal with the consequences of it. Not long after, I decided to move over to standing space for the rest of the game so as not to deal with the looks and huffs for the last few innings. So now looking back on it, not sure if I'm the asshole for telling them to go fuck themselves. On the one hand, I probably should have been the adult in the situation and brushed it off, but on the other, teenagers tend to be used to getting away with acting like assholes to people. If they were adults, I'd have no qualms about telling them to fuck off. Am I the asshole? Editing to Shay. If I shared a story where I got mad at strangers for talking about my body and weight, why the fuck would you think I want to hear some random Redditor's opinion about it as well? Shut the fuck up about my body, you're not my doctor and you've never seen me. Wow, and that's been locked by the moderators. That's a shame. I feel this person's pain because it's like they're on a subreddit, Am I the Asshole, which has nothing to do about weight. It just so happens the scenario has to do with weight, and from this person's edit it seems like loads of people in the comments are either giving them the same kind of abuse as these asshole teenagers, or they're completely avoiding the question of am I the asshole and just saying, oh well, you should do this, you should do that, you shouldn't be this, what do you expect, blah blah blah, which honestly is absolute fucking bullshit. Like, it really annoys me when people think that they can comment on another person's weight. Like, that's got none of your fucking business. That's nothing to do with you. You don't know the person. You don't know the reason why they're overweight. Like, it could be medical. And even if it's not, that doesn't mean that they should be subjected to abuse. Like, I just see no reason for being so fucking judgmental and assholes. Definitely think the teenagers were being assholes in that situation, and they fucking deserve to be told off. And probably the reason why they think it's okay to do shit like that is because the parents always fly in and defend them when they're called on their bullshit antics. I think that's a horrible thing to do, to, you know, be making fun of someone and calling them fat. That's not okay. And I think that, yeah, as I say, asshole kids only grow up to be asshole adults unless they're taught the right way, unless, you know, people stand up to them and teach them that that's not an okay thing to do. So, no, OP, I don't think you're the asshole. And I'm very sorry about what you're having to deal with. That is not cool at all. Really, really not cool. Okay, next. Am I the asshole for refusing to accept drunk husband's apology? Let's see. Oh, it's been removed by the moderators. That one was obviously controversial. Am I the asshole? One moment, please. Thank you for your patience. Am I the asshole for calling out my brother's AI art? So, for context, OP is a 28-year-old female and is an illustrator. She says, I've been drawing for years and also teach part-time as an art tutor at an art school for children. So this basically hurts me at my core. Story, a few months ago, my brother, who's a 40-year-old male, started to use AI to make some pictures. It's his thing now. Our mother thinks it all looks so amazing and doesn't understand how little skill goes into these pictures. Yesterday, she celebrated her birthday and got another picture from him. It was a big celebration and she showed it to all her friends, telling everyone what an amazing artist my brother is. But he didn't make it, the AI did. I said that she should mention this is AI generated and to stop telling people he made it himself. She then turned around and told my brother to explain how he creates art by using AI. He sheepishly tried to explain how he puts words into an AI generator, and the hard work is to find the correct phrasing so it creates what you want. That is really what he said. It's challenging to find the right words. I am now a hater and should appreciate my brother's efforts. Am I the asshole for calling out my brother's sham? Especially in front of the guests. There was no scene and I didn't shout. The celebration was not interrupted. We all just talked while snacking at the table, and this was what I said when my mother showed the picture off. I did not stand up on my chair and loudly proclaim that my hate against AI. People were taken aback though by my criticism because my mum was so chirpy about the picture. I guess no one was expecting anything but praise in the moment. By the way, at this point, this is not just family stuff. He started to try to sell his AI created pictures as well, at least a few weeks ago. Edit, my mother was aware that it was an AI generated picture. I did not destroy her joy of the gift that she received. I am a hater because I explained to the guest that my brother does not deserve 100% to the credit, basically. I don't think you're an asshole, no. It seems as if you weren't like, well, actually, it was just like, well, you know, he made it with AI. It was AI generated. Like, I think it's pretty much of a fucking stretch to say that you're an AI art artist. Like, I mean, are you a fucking poet if you say, write me a poem about cheese? Do you know what I mean? Like, all you're doing is giving someone instructions. You're commissioning AI to make a piece of art for you. You're not making the piece of art yourself. You are requesting that someone else go and do it. When you Google search for something, you're not finding that information yourself. You're not scouring the internet for sources. You are outsourcing that to a search engine. So no, I don't think that you're an asshole. It's not as if you started going into a big rant or whatever, and I can also appreciate how this is kind of like an irritating topic for you since you are an actual illustrator and make your own artwork. Not the asshole. These are like quite quick ones today. This is unusual. Am I the asshole for fussing over my mum's Facebook post so much that she deleted it? So for a bit of necessary context, I'm a 22-year-old female and I was the golden child as a kid. I struggled to get good grades. Okay, you were the golden child but you struggled to get good grades? Fair enough. Joined a ton of clubs. Maybe they meant that they struggled but they did get good grades or something. Anyway, joined a ton of clubs. Did my chores, surely. Have good manners, etc. Anything for my parents' approval, which I got. They said that I was a good kid if I was doing good, and a lot of family friends said that I was a pretty good kid. In contrast, my older 23-year-old male and younger 19-year-old male brother were a little different. They were both pretty big troublemakers as kids, lol. They weren't made to get good grades and weren't held to the same rigid standards as I was. Anyway, I was looking at Facebook yesterday when I saw a post that my mum, 47-year-old female, made. It was one of those rank your kids posts. You're joking. I haven't seen these. One of these rank your kids posts that were making the rounds around her friend group. The ranks that I would like to mention were like, which of your kids was the most emotional? Who overreacts the most? Who's the most whiny? The most exhausting to look after? Wow, so it's just a whole bunch of fucking insults. That's horrible. Why would you do that? And my mum listed me first for all of those and more. I know it's not much of a big deal. It's just a silly ranking game, but fuck, it hurt my feelings. I confronted my mum and said that she shouldn't have done that list at all because it hurt all of her feelings. I told her that I didn't understand. I absolutely broke my back as a kid to make them happy. My dad stepped in and dismissed me, saying that it wasn't a big deal and I was overreacting. So since yesterday, every time they talk to me, I act like a snotty 5-year-old. For example, my dad asked me to fetch something for him and I folded my arms and said, nope, don't want to. When he got mad and demanded what had gotten into me, I said, well, I'm the most whiny child apparently, so now I have to make up for lost time. I've made such a fuss over it that my mum has deleted the post and my dad called me a bitch. Move out. Called me a bitch and is now avoiding me. Edit, I appreciate the feedback that I've gotten and totally thought that I was the golden child, but my idea of it was way off. Since people keep pointing it out, I do not live with my parents and I'm working 2 jobs and going to college. Though the comments say that I'm proving their point hurt, I can't express enough how much I put my emotions aside as a kid in order to not bug my parents as a child. Even my parents say that I was a docile kid, and that's what surprised me so much about our post. I don't think that you're an asshole for expressing your feelings about the situation. Like I say, that sounds like a horrible thing to do. I feel like so many boomers just fucking bounce on any Facebook trend that there is, all this like fucking... It's essentially chainmail, but chain Facebook posts. Like, is that what it was called? Chainmail? You know, when someone sends you like something like, if you don't send this to 24 of your friends by midnight tonight, a ghost is going to come into your room and kill you. That bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that for a start fucking irritates me. But yeah, the actual premise of it is essentially saying which of your kids is the worst. So I think that was a horrible thing to do that. I completely understand how OP's feelings were hurt, and also, you know, that the other siblings as well found it perhaps distasteful, or at least their feelings were also hurt by this. I just don't think it's a very nice thing to do. So I think expressing how you feel and saying, look, this actually hurt my feelings, I don't think that's unreasonable. I think it was completely out of line for the dad to call you a bitch. What the fuck? Like, that says a lot about them as parents, I think, and no wonder, like, this is the kind of thing that they're doing and you don't feel good about yourself and your family dynamic. Like, my God, what do you expect? I mean, you even yourself have said that you've been acting like a snotty 5-year-old, so it's definitely not the mature thing to do. I don't think that it makes you an asshole necessarily, but I mean, I'm not surprised that everyone's thinking you live with your parents. I thought you did too. And I'm also thinking then, if you don't live with your parents and they were both assholes to you and you're still in a mood with them, then why are you going over to their house? Are you literally going over there just to show them that you're in a mood with them? I think that's really immature, honestly. And I think whilst you might very well be proving the point, I don't think it's necessary to basically call out your kids completely unprovoked all over social media. I don't think that's okay. So I think the parents are the fucking assholes in this situation, both of them. That's horrible. That's a shame. I mean, obviously there are fucking worse things you can do to your kids, but yeah, that's not nice. Oh shit, am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend's mum fat at dinner? I think you might be. So OP says, hi, I'm a 22-year-old female and met my boyfriend, 24-year-old male, about 2 years ago. We have a great relationship and get along really well, and I could really see myself spending the rest of my life with him. There is only one problem. His mum, I will call her Mary throughout the story. After almost a year of our relationship, I really wanted to meet Mary and my boyfriend's dad, but he kept pushing it off. Eventually, he decided to set some things up so we could all go out to eat. When I first met his dad, he was nice, but I kind of got the feeling Mary didn't like me. Eventually, as I started to get to know them more, Mary started making really rude comments to me about what I was eating. She would say things like, are you really going to eat all of that? Or, don't you think you should watch your figure a little bit? My son doesn't like fat girls. Okay, I don't think you're the asshole. She can fuck off. That's a horrible thing to say. I would laugh it off as a joke, but my boyfriend and his dad never said anything. It was clearly an awkward situation. This happened every time we would eat with him, and I started to lose my patience. Not patience. This went on for months. Everything came to a boiling point at tonight's dinner that we had. She started with her usual comments, but something about this one comment made me lose it. I didn't cook a lot of food today, so please try to restrain yourself. I know it's hard for your kind. What a fucking bitch! She made me feel like some kind of child and I lost it. I slammed my fork on the table and stood up and yelled, maybe you should consider restraining yourself. Last time I checked, this is the second place you've gotten, fat bitch. Ah! Oh my. Mary and my boyfriend's dad were shocked. Mary started crying and I immediately felt bad. Oh, so you can fucking dish it out but you can't take it? Aye. Before I could even say anything, my boyfriend grabbed my hand and took me to the car and we went home. It was silent on the way home and I asked if he wanted to talk and he said, let's just talk about it tomorrow. He then went to bed, but I can't help but feel bad. I need to know if I was out of line. So Reddit, am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend's mum fat while at dinner? Edit, a few people have asking what she meant by your kind. I don't want to jump to any conclusions because I don't know for sure what she meant, but I assumed it's because I'm black and the percentage of obesity is high in the black community. Wow. This is quite similar to, remember when we did that one that was, am I the asshole for calling my grandma fat? And we ruled that she wasn't the asshole there. There's something about the way, like what she said in this case. So the comment from Mary was, I didn't cook a lot of food today, so please try to restrain yourself. I know it's hard for your kind, which could either mean fat people or black people or fat black people. And then OP said, maybe you should consider restraining yourself. Last time I checked, this is the second plate that you've gotten, fat bitch. I think the fat bitch part is the bit that kind of tips it over the edge into like potentially crossing a line there, honestly. If they'd said, well, you know, last I checked, this is the second plate you've had, so maybe you should watch out. But yeah, honestly, I think this whole thing of the mother just like bursting into tears, I think that probably it's one of these things oh, okay, so now you're the victim, blah blah, you know. I mean, clearly the mother's been making comments like this for a while now, and the boyfriend and the husband are well aware of what she's like. So just because she starts bursting into tears, it makes her the victim, and it's okay everything that she said to you, and you're supposed to just sit there and take it? Fuck that. Don't just sit there and take it. But I think the fat bitch part, I think it's kind of treading into asshole territory, honestly. I think, I completely understand where you're coming from, and I think that the first part of it was justified, probably. But the fat bitch part, it's a bit too much. Because you can factually say, you've had 2 plates this evening, that's a fact. But to call someone a fat bitch, that might also be factually correct. But it's a lot more personal, and it's a lot more I hate you type of deal. So I don't think that was necessary, but fuck it. Same as the last one, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that, to be honest. See, people who just think they can fucking say whatever they want and that no one's ever going to come back at them. People just, some people just need to be put in fucking line, do you know what I mean? They think that they can just say this, but like I say, they can't take it when someone says something like that to them. It's fuck off. Anyway, let's see another one. Am I the asshole for thinking that my wife lied to me? I don't think that's going to be so interesting. How are we supposed to know if they lied? Am I the asshole for kicking out my son? I'm guessing not, because he's fucking 21 years old. But context matters. So my son is 21 years old, doesn't go to school, and earns way more money than me. He has multiple PCs set up in his room for crypto mining. Because of this, he has lots of money saved up. Every month, our power bill gets higher and higher. He doesn't want to pay 50% while he uses most of the power. Because of him, I barely get by. Am I the asshole for kicking him out? No. He's a grown-ass fucking adult. He earns more than you do. Crypto mining takes up a lot of fucking energy, and he's not even willing to pay for it. Nah, not the asshole. It's about time he fucking moved out and supported himself instead of fucking mooching off you. Is that the word? Mooching? Is it? Mooching. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Is that the right word? Am I an asshole for lying about why I'm a single dad to someone? It depends. If it was a total fucking stranger, then it's none of their business. But if it's a potential girlfriend, ooh. This post has also been removed by the moderators. A lot of fucking spice. A lot of spice. That we can't see. Am I the asshole for going home without my boyfriend because he wouldn't stop having conversations? This one's already been ruled upon, so let's not do this one today. Am I the asshole for not letting my fiancé choose my maid of honour? I don't fucking think so. It's your maid of honour. Why should someone else choose for you? I just noticed that the O in asshole in the banner is a fucking chocolate starfish. I never noticed that before. Anyway, am I the asshole for not letting my fiancé choose my maid of honour? My fiancé and I are planning our wedding, and we're having a disagreement. I want my niece, who's a 17-year-old female, to be my maid of honour, and my fiancé wants me to choose someone else. My niece is very dear to me. Her mum left her when she was only 9, and I sort of became her nanny. I've been helping my brother raise her, and she is like a daughter to me. I'm infertile, so she will be my only child. My fiancé, however, doesn't like her and is insisting that she shouldn't be part of our wedding, even though he knows how important she is to me. I finally snapped and told him that he needs to accept my niece and learn to get along with her, and that I get to choose my maid of honour. He thinks I'm an asshole. Not the asshole. Your maid of honour, your choice. That's not very nice. How would you fucking feel if, you wanted to make your brother your best man, and she was like, nah, I don't like your brother. He's not allowed to be your best man. He's not even allowed to be in part of the wedding. That's ridiculous. No. I don't no. That's just dumb. I mean, it's not like he has to talk to her or anything like that, you can just sit her in a part of the table where they're not close enough to converse during the meal or whatever, and just fucking avoid her, because most of the activities won't be with him anyway, you know what I mean? That's fucking stupid. Should we do one more? Am I the asshole for wanting more than a 1998 valuation for my mother's ring? That sounds a bit boring. Am I the asshole for doing exactly what my wife said? What, like in a work to rule type deal? Nah. Being rude to a co-worker. Telling my son's wife that his ex is in the family and has been here longer than she has. This one might be interesting. Let's see. So am I the asshole for telling my son's wife that his ex is still in the family and has been here longer than she has? Edit, I will make this clear, she may not be my kid by blood, but everything else, she is my daughter, and she has been for 10 years. Which one, the wife or the ex? Also, Sabrina is engaged, and no, she doesn't want to get back with my son, and I don't want them to either. Yes, I have invited Bethany to do stuff with me, it's always been a no. So if I am the asshole, then I'm the asshole, and I am standing by it. I won't disown Sabrina by disinviting her to family events, because that is actually, I will be saying, what? I will be saying I don't see her as family if I disinvite her to family events she has gone to for about 10 years. This is asking me to choose between two children. I will not disown one. That's actually really nice, to be honest, because I'm guessing Sabrina is the ex. Sabrina is a person in her own right, and if OP has an independent relationship with her, like totally nothing to do with the son, then why should he change his relationship with her just because of someone else? I'm feeling like this is going to be not the asshole. So my son was dating Sabrina. They started in high school and broke up when they were in college. It was a long relationship and I became really close to her. She is in my eyes our daughter. Her family are awful people and she sees us as her parental figures. She even is planning to have my husband walk her down the aisle when she gets married. Wow, that's really nice. Now when they broke up, relationship just died. We didn't drop her since she is our kid at this point. My son wasn't happy but moved on. So she gets invited to family events and has for years. My son, now 27, is married to Bethany and she is a nice person. We never clicked, we don't have much in common and they live 2 hours away, so it's hard to plan stuff to get to know her more. Really, I'm sure it will grow in time. Now we had a picnic and all the family members were invited, so Sabrina was there as normal and I thought the night was nice. Bethany came up to me at the end of the night and expressed that she's uncomfortable with her ex-husband being everywhere, uncomfortable with her husband's ex being everywhere, and if I couldn't invite her for family stuff. I told her no and that Sabrina is part of the family and has been part of the family longer than she has. If there is an actually valid reason like her being rude, then I would consider it, but she's done nothing wrong. She left and my son has called me an asshole for picking her over my now real family. Am I the asshole? My husband thinks she is crazy, but I know we can be biased. No, not the asshole at all. Like I say, Sabrina is a person in her own right. They have a relationship with her in their own right. And I think that especially since Sabrina's own parents are assholes, it's even more important to her probably that she has other parental figures in her life that are still like kind enough and nice enough to still consider her family and invite her to family events. And it's been 10 fucking years, you know, and Bethany and the son are already married, and now Bethany wants to all of a sudden be like, oh, I don't like it, can you stop inviting her? If you don't like it, don't come. You can be the one who doesn't come anymore. You know what I mean? Like, why punish someone who's been in their life for over 10 years just because someone new comes along and decides that it's uncomfortable for them, even though the relationship ended fucking years ago and she's getting married to somebody else? Like, this is just totally stupid. Not the asshole OP. I actually think that you're very nice and very sweet to maintain that relationship regardless of anyone else. I think that's the right thing to do, honestly. Cool. This was a bit of a mixed bag today, right? Like the first ones we had were like so quick to go through. I felt like I also read them really, really quickly. I thought about it the other day as well, and in my old videos where I used to edit them, I would spend a lot more time sort of dissecting each of the posts and stuff, but now I tend to whiz through them a lot more. So let me know in the comments what you prefer, whether you like it when I kind of do like a breakdown play-by-play of all the points in the story and really go through it thoroughly, or if you quite like it when I go through them quicker and get more in each episode. If you want to check out more videos from me, then you can click on either of these here and subscribe to see more of them, turn on notifications. And yeah, thanks a lot for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye bye, 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 bye.